All right, welcome everybody. Going to give folks a few moments to join, and then we will do a quick introduction about Acelab, give you guys some pointers on what to expect after today's webinar, and then we'll go ahead and get started with today's CEU course on specialty door openings. It's presented today by Rose Cliff Olson, coming here from the AIA-approved Opening Solutions brand. So very excited to bring this event to you guys today. All right. Looks like we've got a good amount of folks joining. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly introduce you guys to some of the things that you can do on Acelab, as well as tell you a little bit about what to expect after today's webinar. All right. So everyone who signs up for today's webinar has a free Acelab account. You can head to acelabusa.com after today's session to check out some of the resources we've got here. You can sign up for upcoming webinars right here on your homepage. You can search through a bunch of our searchable product categories, as well as check out some other resources that we have up here. Today, I just want to show you guys how to get in touch with today's presenters. So if you've got some questions after today's webinar, or you want to explore some more about their products, this is a great place to come. You can type the name of any brand or manufacturer into the search bar at the top and head over to their page on Acelab. From here, you can scroll down to get in touch with their team directly. Got Brian here, who's just hopping on now. You can use this button to get in touch with AIA-approved and Brian directly, ask them questions about projects, get in touch about product literature, any other support that you might need. You can also scroll down and view some more about the brand, some information about them, watch some videos, as well as explore products. You can save these to your projects, and you can also open up these pages to view some more information. Saving the products will also add them to a handy comparison table where you're able to compare products next to each other and view some more information about them. So this is a great place to come if you're interested in learning some more about AIA-approved after today's webinar, as well as exploring some of the other free resources that we have. I also just wanted to show you guys quickly something newer that we have launched. This is an updated version of the platform. We're currently releasing it to beta users. So if you're interested in getting access to this, I will send over the email of one of my colleagues in the chat momentarily so that you can reach out and we can get you set up with some early access. So this is our new schedules feature, which we've recently launched. This is basically an enhanced way to store all of your product information on Acelab. And if you want to get in touch with Acelab's team, we will help you out by taking all of your historical project data, your spreadsheets, your project folders, and implementing all of that onto Acelab to kind of save you the setup time. So you'll be able to organize your firm's library and your digital product information all here. You can get in touch with reps. Those will be automatically loaded here. And you can pull in different data points. So we have data that's automatically available on Acelab. You can see this little Acelab tag here. So you can just pull in data already stored. You can also add custom data. So if you want to do custom statuses, tag things by different assemblies, you can really customize this to work for your specific firm's needs, and to be able to keep track of all of your historical project data and what products you've used in different projects. All right, and then after today's webinar, if you do let us know during the call that you want to get in touch with AIA-approved, we'll go ahead and make a conversation for you. You can communicate with reps directly through Acelab. To get to your conversations, you can just click this home button, head over to your conversations here. You'll also get an email anytime you've got a new message, so you can respond directly to those emails. You don't have to open Acelab's platform, but this is a great place to come and keep track of your conversations all along with your product data. So if you're interested in learning some more about that, you can get in touch with our team. We'll help you out. All right, a few quick housekeeping items from me. Today is a CEU event. We did ask for AIA numbers upon registration. We will also send over a form in the chat momentarily where you can submit your AIA number if you're worried you didn't include it, and you can also request a certificate through that form. Other than that, I just want to encourage folks to please use the Q&A throughout today's presentation. We should have some time to get to some questions at the end of today's session. And if we don't get to your question live, we'll have a record of that so we can follow up with you after today's event. All right, awesome. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you, Rose and Brian, for being here. And Rose, whenever you're ready, feel free to share your screen and take it away.
All righty. I see Brian's on. So Brian, if you wanted to say a few words.
Yeah, first off, thanks, Bo. Appreciate this opportunity with Acelab. Thanks for Rose jumping on, and for everyone to know, Rose is a wealth of knowledge here. and certainly can answer any questions that you may have on the specialty side. And like Bo had mentioned earlier, please feel free to reach out, whatever we can do to help out, projects big or small. Our team's here ready to help. So door specifications, hardware specifications, you name it, we're ready to help. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brian. And Bo, are you seeing my screen?
Not yet.
Okay. And I did have it up, didn't I? I'm just not sure.
Yeah, I think
there you go.
it kicked you off.
I'm more used to Teams than Zoom, so I apologize. So let me get in here and share. I believe now you should be able to see my screen.
Yes, now you're good.
Okay, great. All right. So I'm Rose Cliff Olson. I am the door group trainer. I've been with ASA for about 14 years. I've been in the industry 42 years back in May of this year. Today what we want to do is just to walk you through specialty. And then this is going to be a very high level overview of specialty products. I am going to go take my video off, and so that you all can be able to just concentrate on the screen there. But this will be a high-level overview of specialty. And again, as Bo said, if we have questions, we'll try to answer those. I'm not going to tell you that I know all of the answers to your questions, but we have so many resources at ASA that I can definitely get an answer for you. As Bo said, if we don't have it right now, we will definitely get that for you. So as we start to go through this specialty, and I'm going to make sure hopefully my screen is. All right, here we go. So this is on specialty opening. We have our DSS program number listed there on the screen. And of course, this is presented by ASA ABLOY. How it really drives our specialty opening division, and you have some additional information there. Again, AI continuing education in this presentation. And the course description here, basically, as I said, it's an overview of the different types of more highly customized products that are out in the industry and what their applications are for. So within specialty openings, you have a list of these products here. You have attack-resistant, bullet, blast, forced entry, bullet-resistant, stainless, watertight, lead line flood, STC, and RFI EMI shielded openings. All of these different types of openings have specific uses to it. At the end of this presentation, I will also show you, if you go right to one of our door companies, right onto their website, a lot of great information there also at a glance. So we'll go through that here in a bit. So the first type of product we want to look at is attack resistant. So in our industry after Sandy Hook, these types of products were developed so that in schools and different types of applications or projects where you want to keep the people inside that building as safe as possible. And if there happened to be an intruder, that they could not breach that opening, at least until the first responders get there. So first responders can usually get to a scene in about 3.5 to 4 minutes. So on this attack resistant, the product itself, the testing is to shoot the lock 30 times, shoot the glass 30 times, shoot the side light itself 30 times. And then for 4 minutes of ongoing attack, whether it's the intruder with the butt of his gun or a baseball bat or a hammer or whatever, that will not breach that opening until first responders get there, and hopefully long enough that he gets tired and leaves the facility. The upsell to these types of products also is that our industry didn't want these attack-resistant products to look like people are going into a prison. So these products and components are made up of standard material. Really, the strength is in the glass. The glass is what we call a skull guard glass, and it is a type of glass that, again, we shoot it 30 times in this test, and for 4 minutes, they can't breach it. Now, the bullet you'll see glass flex away in the test, but not enough to where that attacker can break the glass and breach the opening for that 4 minutes. One other thing I did want to point out in the attack resistance before we go on is that our industry realized a lot of times the cost of that complete unit. And a lot of, especially school districts, could not afford that. So our industry went back and kind of retested. And there is a option of a retrofit where you get the glass and the light kit, and you reinforce that opening by swapping out the light kit and the glass in that existing opening. The next product we have is a bullet resistant. And again, as we walk through these products and we talk about resistance, please keep in mind it's not bulletproof, it is bullet resistant. So you will see that some of the bullets may and will penetrate, but again, it's there to resist and to help protect what's on the other side of that door. So the next one is our bullet resistant. You'll see the various types of applications for it. But on the bullet resistant, really, we have up to level 1 up to a level 8. After a level 3, usually manufacturers start putting Kevlar in that opening to really beef up because of the higher level of bullet resistance required. There are 2 standards, 2 bullet resistance. There's a UL 752 and an NIJ standard, as you see on the screen there. The UL 752 is going to be mostly your most common standard that a project will say that product must comply with. The NIJ is your National Institute of Justice. That's where you're going to get into a lot of military bases, things like that, where the NIJ standard is going to be more beefed up product. You'll see here, it shows you the various types of levels with the amount of shots and the type that are required for the 2 different specifications. So again, 752 is usually going to be your day in and day out if somebody's looking for a bullet resistant, but keep in mind that there is another standard there, which is the National Institute of Justice. And I bring this up because if product must comply with the NIJ standard, that product and cost goes up. Blast resistant products we have in our industry, again, you'll see that in refineries, storage area, airports, courthouses, embassies. The one biggest thing with blast resistant products is that we have a lot of different terminology within blast. So we talk about the standoff distance, the charge weight. Is it in the seated or unseated position? And a lot of times these projects, especially in embassies, projects like that, they will ask for a engineering evaluation done. And that is a process to calculate all of these options as what they're requiring on that opening. Will this type of product comply with what they're looking for? So we have all of these different types of options, and you'll see, again, we talk about the rebound, and I also talk about seated. Seated is going up against the stop, or unseated, unseated where the door swings away from the stop. All of these different types of terminology that you'll see means something. And a lot of times, it will be requested, again, like I said, that 30-party tested engineering being done, or calculations as we call it, being done. You'll see also there are a lot of standards that a lot of these different types of facilities will or must comply with. These types of requirements, in our industry, there are people that understand all of these different types of standards that are required based on the project itself. Now, another thing at the last bullet point on the screen there, it talks about multi-solution applications. Over the last probably 5 to 8 years, our industry has seen a shift in where not only do you require, that project requires, say, that opening to be blast, but they also want it to have an STC rating to it, a sound deadening, or they want it to be stainless and blast. So over the years, we've seen these different types, and I call them hybrids, of specialty products where the spec will call for blast and bullet and stainless or blast. And a lot of these different multi-solution applications, our industry has been able to adapt to because of the changing times and the different types of uses in the different types of facilities. Forced entry bullet resistant openings, you're going to see there, as it shows you there, a lot of different applications. Safe rooms, you have, multi-million-dollar homes where they have a safe room. This is a product where the testing was for 5-minute, 15, or 60-minute of a 6-man crew with a variety of tools that they won't breach that opening. So this product is going to be very highly complex. Because of the rating requires 60 minutes of an ongoing attack. And the goal of it is that you have 6 men and you have groups of 2. So the first 2 come up and they will try to breach that opening. They get tired, the next 2 come up, and so on. The goal is to try to put in a 12 by 12 hole in that door, some way to be able to breach that opening. So with our industry, we have it all the way up to a 60-minute attack resistant on this, up to a level 8 bullet resistant product. Some of these products in our industry are required as assemblies, or you can buy, or they can be ordered as components. So when you see items that say sold as a complete assembly, that means your door, your frame, your exit devices, thresholds, hinges, all of that, because of the strict testing that has to be done on that opening, it has to be sold as a complete assembly. There are products out there that can be, you know, different components, and that's fine. But this is one product that will always be sent as a complete assembly. Stainless steel in our industry. Again, there are 2 types of stainless steel. You'll see the applications there, different clean rooms, food processing plants, and their requirements. All of their doors and frames, metal doors and frames, have to comply with being stainless steel. You'll have hospital, different types of areas in your hospital, anywhere where there's a lot of chemicals or water, things like that you will see. And then on the more aesthetically pleasing types of application, you'll see casino, hotel lobbies, office buildings, and so on. So within stainless steel, we have 2 different types of steel that you will see day in and day out, and that's the 304 and the 316. For most types of projects, 304 stainless steel is just fine. 316 is where you will see that required on wastewater treatment facilities. As I said, in food processing plant, their standard is the 316. The 316 basically is a steel that has more chromium in it to make it more highly corrosive resistant. So especially on wastewater treatment facilities or chemical storage facilities, you may see it required to have a 316 steel. With stainless steel, there's a lot of different finishes that are available within our industry. As you see there, the mirror, the satin, a blend is more like a brushed type of finish. You have a various selections of cores that you can pick from on stainless steel, whether they're still stiff in a styrene core, lead line. And again, this product also can be offered as a hybrid or multi-solution opening. A lot of these different products, as we go through them, you will see that fire rating is available. Most products can have some type of fire rating on it. Not everything will be able to, because of testing, be able to have a 3-hour rating on it. So, and especially when we get into those hybrid types of solutions, we may have restrictions on the fire rating depending on what types of products they're wanting to combine. So that is something though, but again, that's a great item to be aware of, that a lot of these custom specialty types of products can have fire ratings on it. And on stainless steel also, that last bullet point there talks about internal components of the door, galvanized and stainless steel. If the goal is to say, use this type of product in and we're going to talk about this here in a little bit, in a watertight solution, you may not need the internal components of that stainless steel door to be stainless steel, which will help in cost savings if they can just be galvanized components inside the door. And when we get into the watertight, I'll kind of explain that a little bit more. Here is a visual again of the various types of steel. Water-resistant sanitary doors, where you've got a lot of heavy washing down and cleaning or pressure washing, and again, the various applications you'll see there. This type of product is designed that the door itself, as they're hosing down that room, say in a clean room every night, you don't want water to get on the inside of the door. Now, when they're hosing down that room, you may have water go underneath the door or around it, but water won't get on the inside. So our industry, what we do with that type of door, when it has to be water resistant or sanitary doors, they cap off everything around that door itself. So for instance, the hinges are capped off. The lock prep is capped off. If that door has a light in it, the light kit itself is all capped off. So as they hose down that room every night, water, moisture doesn't get on the inside of the door itself. So everything is pretty much sealed with this type of product because of the usage for it. Lead line doors and frames. As I said earlier in my introduction, I've been doing this for about 40-something years. When I first started in the industry, most manufacturers, when you said lead line doors and frames, they would ship you the door with lead in it, and the frame would have what we have, just clips to hold the lead in, and then locally the lead would be put into the frame. That has gone away. All of us in our industry will supply lead line doors and frames with lead in both the doors and frames. You want to also be aware of the amount or the thickness of the lead that is required. Different types of applications or projects may require thicker lead. You'll see there that it's up to 1/4 inch thick lead. Also, lead can be put in wood doors, hollow metal doors and frames. Lead line doors and frames can have fire ratings on them. Again, that multi-solution application, whether it's lead and you wanted STC, lead line opening with stainless steel. In our industry, they have had up to a 1 inch thick lead being supplied. But really, when you get over 1/4 inch thick lead, that's when you really want to make sure that that product can be manufactured. And I think back on the instance of the 1 inch thick lead was a cancer treatment facility where they housed all of their treatments. That whole area, they wanted it to be 1 inch thick lead, doors, frames, walls, everything. So again, you want to be aware of the lead thickness that is required on these types of projects, depending on where that door and frame is being used. Flood resistant openings. This is a product that recently has been introduced into our market. And what this is in places where flood, whether it's in subway area or places where there's a lot of flooding, they want to be able to protect what's on the other side of that door. This is another product that is sent as an assembly. With this product, you will notice on the screen, it is a 4-sided frame. So the test with this is that 36 inches of standing water, that the water won't breach that opening to destroy what's on the other side of the door. Now, with this flood abatement standard test, we are allowed a certain amount of seepage to the other side of the door, but not enough that it will destroy what's on the other side. So it's at the 36-inch line, which is just below your lock prep. So again, this product is supplied as an assembly, which is your door, your frame, your seals, 3-sided or 4-sided welded material. And the other thing I did want to bring up when we talk about welded frames, these specialty products, the products will always come out welded and like that. So because of the complexity of these and the testing that has to be done, it is required that they are welded for the most part from the factory. And one other last thing on that flood opening is that the testing also says, you know, whether you have to have additional aid, i.e. sandbags in front of your openings. With us, we did not require sandbags. So, you know, our doors will comply with that. STC, anywhere where you want to reduce the sound transmission through that opening, whether it's your door, your frame, your walls, all of that. Application in the different places you'll see there, justice, courthouses, office setting, conference room, recording studios. In our industry, also, we have the ability to go all the way up to a STC 66 product. But you'll see here, this slide here is a really nice slide that I use from time to time when someone has an idea of the sound deadening that they want to have accomplished. But they're not sure where the STC number should be. This kind of gives you a guideline on what they want it to do and where you should start with your STC. And of course, with STC, the higher the number, the better the sound deadening. Within our industry, We also have metal doors assemblies up to an STC 55. As you get over an STC 50, be aware that there are going to be certain types of restrictions or standards that have to be met. For instance, on hollow metal frames, if it's over a 50, it is required that that frame is grouted. If it gets over 50, there's a different configuration to the type of frame because of the weight of the door. We, in our industry, have to supply cam lift hinges. And what cam lift hinges will do is, because of the way that door, you have to have hinges that will be able to open that door, lift it, and then as it swings and closes, that it sits on the threshold. Because of that weight of the door, when you get over 50, standard types of hinges, whether they're heavyweight, 5-inch or whatever, won't be able to do the job. So you have to go to a cam lift hinges, which is supplied by the manufacturer. And as you see on this screen, we have STC 66, that is the highest in our industry to date, but it is a communicating opening. So an example would be a recording studio. So you've got the two doors in that opening, as if, like hotel rooms that communicating from one room to the other, they're hinged on one frame. Well, on the ST66, that's how that was accomplished, along with the 66. So for instance, on a recording studio, if they're working, you close one door. Each door is an STC 54, but when they start to record, they close the second door. That gets them to the 66. With that product also, a vent tube is supplied in the threshold, because once those two doors are closed, if you don't have a way to release pressure between the two doors, you won't be able to open up the door. So a vent tube is supplied within the threshold of this STC 66. There are metal window frames, which are borrowed lights, four-sided frames in a wall that can go up to a 57. The one thing you want to be aware of when you get into those 54, 57 on a borrowed light, glass must be supplied with that frame because of the testing and because of the high STC to that borrowed light. Sliding hollow metal door assembly. Those are the types of products where they're in ballrooms, big ballrooms, and they want to separate out the big ballroom into two sections. Those big sliding products or sliding doors is what can be supplied. And then wood doors, true wood doors can be supplied up to an STC 53. That wood door is still 1 3/4 inch thick wood door. So a lot of times on the higher STC wood doors, a lot of times we assume that the thickness of the door has to increase, but we can supply a 53 with 1 3/4 inch thick wood door. Again, a lot of STC requirements for the different types of application. The one thing that we see in our industry a lot of times when people come back to say the STC opening is not performing as what we expected, is that along with the door and the frame and the sound seals, the seals have to be provided or applied correctly. Also, it comes in the wall construction, has to be STC rated. So not only the door, the frame, you have all the seals and everything else to go with that opening, the wall has to be. Also, we want to be careful of putting vents above the doors and walls and things like that, because sound will travel through that. So those are all things that have to come into play when you're looking at STC openings. We also have the one thing also we talk about, the second to the last bullet point there, products to perform within 5 points of laboratory testing STC ratings. What that basically means is that in a controlled area, you can say, hey, this can test out an STC 45. But in reality, in the field, it may be 5 points or so difference in your rating. So that becomes very important. If your project said it must be a 50, whether it's in the field or here, we may have to up that STC for that particular project. Another thing that you want to be aware of when we talk about STC openings is the type of sound seals, whether they're compression or they're adhesive. The adhesive is a stick-on type, and that can be used up to an STC 50 opening. The compression is going to be a different type, and I apologize, I don't have a picture of that frame, but the frame configuration is going to be different because it's going to be a higher STC. So a standard, say, hollow metal frame with stick-on weather strip will not be able to get you to that STC, say 50 or 54 with just a stick-on weather strip or seals. It has to be a compression type. Now, the fastest growing type of product in our industry to date is the RFI EMI shielded openings, where you have, for instance, we're in a government facility. They are viewing or discussing top secret information, or if it's in a data area where there's a lot of information stored there, you don't want someone sitting across the street or whatever to be able to access information or to be able to listen in on top secret information or conversations that are being had, like skiff rooms. So these types of products are available for those applications, but along with not having someone to be able to access information or be able to listen in, the other hybrid of this is we are seeing in our industry now this RFI opening along with an STC 50 attributes to it. So not only do they do not want someone to be able to access information in, say, like a data center or a skiff room. They don't want anybody to walk past the opening to be able to hear anything. So we have the STC construction of, along with these RFI, which is one of the fastest growing types of hybrids that we see in our industry today. This product is sold as a complete assembly. So again, your door, your frame, your seals, all of these items are sold as an assembly in order to reach the various specs that are needed. And I know this is a very high level overview of specialty, but we wanted just to give you an idea of the different types of products out there. I do want to take a minute because Bo was talking about some of the information that you can access. I wanted to show you also some tools, if that's okay, Bo, just right on the ASA website that you can get information, if that's okay. All right, great. So I'm gonna take and change up here just a sec. Give me a minute. I'm just gonna go to one of our door group companies, Curry's. And any of our hollow metal companies, you can find this information. Hopefully you can see my screen. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is a Curry's, this is just their homepage where you can go into products and solutions. And for me, I don't need to know everything. I just need to know where to find the information or who to reach out to when I need information. And this is a great resource for you. So if you come down here to where it says specialty products, and you click onto that, we have a couple of different options here, the specialty toolbox or quick cut sheets. And the quick cut sheets is what I wanted to show you. This is where a very high overview that I gave you on the different products. This is all of the text sheets with us. And I'll pull up an STC 66 and I'll show you this here. This one here is a cut sheet of the STC 66. What this does, this is an 8.5 by 11 PDF. And a lot of times, if you're trying to look for information or you're trying to get information for a specific project, you don't need to read through volumes and volumes of information. You want something very simple, quick, that you can look at and say, yes, this is a product that I think we're looking for. This is a good resource for you. What this is it has, again, it's an 8.5 by 11 sheet. And you come down in the perimeter of the sheet, you will see the detail of this STC 66. Remember I talked about the STC 66 are 2 doors with a vent tube. This shows you the detail of the vent tube with the 2 doors. Specifications here goes in and it talks about what type of test ASTM standards that product complies with. And we talked about the cam lift hinges, kind of gives you the detail on that. Tested hardware preps. These are all information that are right on the website that you can tab into to take a look at these custom or these specialty types of products and say, yes, that is what I'm looking for. And then getting more information, again, that is something, then you can take it to the DSS people, as Bo was talking about, and getting more information. We also have an email address for technical information. Again, sometimes you don't need to have a volume of information. You're looking for a specific product or a specific answer to a question, this, I would say, along with our DSS people, would be where you want to first kind of reach out to look at. Brian, I didn't know if you wanted to add anything else to this. I know, like I said, it's very high level, but I just wanted to kind of show you some of the information that we have available.
Yeah, no, I think that's I think it's perfect. The one thing that I will add to this, and as Rose knows, and she's mentioned it through a couple of the slides, each one of these has particular hardware requirements and also limitations with it. So that's always a big part of it. A lot of times bullet resistant wants access control. Can we do it? Yes, but there's certain things that we have to do to get to that point. So just thinking in mind, yes, or even down into the Florida building code, we have different requirements that we can and cannot meet. So all those questions, they get technical. That's what we're here for, to help out. So
Absolutely. Any questions that maybe we can answer while we're on here? We still have a few more minutes. Well, was there anything else that you wanted to cover on this?
Yeah, so it does look like we've got some questions, and a reminder to anyone who maybe hasn't submitted one yet, feel free to use the Q&A to do that. All right. And other than that, yeah, before folks jump off, just want to remind you to grab some of the links in the chat that might be helpful for you. All right, let's start off with the first question here. What does the door sweep condition look like in a typical flood-proof door or high STC rated door? Would the door undercut have to be specified?
And again, let's go back to me sharing my screen here. Let's see here. Can you see my screen or no?
Yes.
Okay. Wanted to go back to the actual queries. And bear with me 1 second here. Go back to the Curry site. Here we go. All right. So can you see my screen with the specialty cut sheets?
Yes.
Okay. So as far as like the STC, I think the question was about what type of undercut on these high STC products. This is where I would come to get that information. It's going to here kind of give you, showing you a 7/8 undercut, half-inch flat, unfluted threshold. This is where you want to come to find that quick information about what the undercut is. They're going to be special because on these specialty products, because they're so highly customized, a lot of times you will see that the undercut is not going to be the same as if you're looking at standard hollow metal doors and frames with the standard threshold and door sweep. So this is where I would come to first to look. And then if I couldn't find what I wanted, we have a email address that is right on our website for technical questions. So say you're looking at a project and it's requiring this ASTM standard to be met, and you're not sure, hey, does this product comply with that? We have a technical support along with, you know, your resource from the DSS that can actually help you with that, to give you more technical information. We have a team of people that do nothing but work with the various types of standards that are required for the various types of products. And it gets really confusing really fast when you're looking at a lot of different types of products and trying to make sure that you are specifying the right product for the right application. So that's where I would first go to. And then the next would be to reach out to DSS. And then also they can also reach out to our technical team at Specialty.
Awesome. All right. And then looks like we've got a question about looking for CAD details.
That would have to go right through to Specialty, because the only thing that we have, what you see here on the page here that I've got on our websites. If you're looking for specific CAD details, or say you're looking at a requirement for a specific product, there is, and let me go back here. And again, my thing is, I love that I don't need to know everything. I just need to know where to find the information. Here is still on the Curry's website, but there is a email here that you'll see that gives you support, technical support. That is a group of people that do nothing but look at specifications, the different standards that must be required by a specific product. If you have, especially when you get into hybrids, because again, like I said, over the last 8 or so years, our industry has shifted to not only doing STC, but then blast with it. Or we have like a product that was developed here probably 4 or 5 years ago down on the coast in Florida, where it was a military base that they wanted. They got hit with a hurricane, but they also wanted to be blast and hurricane. And so the industry didn't have anything like that. And we developed that because of that specific project that required it. So again, that technical support email address is a great tool. I use it all the time when I have people asking me questions, especially because these products are so customized that there's so many things that come into bear with those products that you just want to make sure you're providing and specifying the right product.
Definitely. And actually, as a follow-up, if you don't mind, if I'll share my screen quickly.
Sure.
If folks are just looking to like download some construction details just to kind of like check them out, we do actually have construction details for all of these products on Acelab. So I added a link to this in the chat, but just to show y'all where these live. So if you open up any of these product pages, scroll down to the bottom here, we've got a
Awesome.
bunch of downloads here. So you can download brochures, data sheets, and we have some example construction details here as well. So Acelab's a great place to come if you want to just get some of these files for any of these specific products. But yeah, as Rose mentioned, reaching out to the technical team is a great way to make sure you're getting the details that you need.
Absolutely.
All right, let's see here. Can you have a vision window in a flood door on an exterior opening, or are these doors specifically interior?
Again, that they're asking if it can have a glass in it and a flood door. As far as I know, I would have to look at the tech sheet. I don't believe you can, because of one is the test says on a flood, or flood door, 1 4-sided or 3-sided, but you have all the seals to it and how we tested it. So if we haven't tested with a light in it, you're not going to be able to get a light. That would be something, again, that I would go back to the tech sheet on the website along with that, or maybe reach out to DSS, or as Bo said, go into what he was showing you. There's a lot of different, if you pull that up, Bo, you might be able to see, if you look at flood doors, and I think it shows you the different designs of the doors that are available. That's another place where you can really go in to look for what is available. I believe, yeah.
So I'll go to the main page here.
Okay.
But yeah, you can check out here to see like what we have available in terms of different designs, and then like opening any of these pages will give you some more information about different customization options, compositions. So yeah, I believe you should be able to get some information on like those specifics here. And then you can also use our search tool if you've got specific requirements. You can head over to the doors search tool. You can, select, I'll restart here, but you can select all sorts of specific requirements, exterior, interior. You'll be able to filter through ASA-ABLOY's doors that way to get, specifically the requirements you're looking for.
Yeah.
We can do up to,
yeah.
oh, sorry, Rose. I was just going to
No,
say,
no,
we
go
can
ahead.
go up to 10 by 10.
Is it up to 10 by 10?
Yeah.
All right. And you just pull that up from our website?
Sure.
The detail. Yep. And again, it's you've got a lot of different places that you can find information, as Bo was showing you all, and along with the support of our DSS group, along with the support of our website, just looking very quickly. And it's kind of mirrors what Bo has about the applications, the different cores, design options would be where you want to go first to take a look at what we can and cannot do.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right. A question about lead times. How long are lead times in general to produce specialty openings and ship to the job site?
Oh gosh. We have let me do one thing here. I'm going to do something real quick and look. We have a lead time sheet that goes out every Friday. And I wanted to see if I could find it real quick. Each product has a little bit different lead time to it. And I'm just going to give you an example. I just want to pull it up real quick to give you an example. Again, the other thing that has to come into play with lead time is the product itself, the complexity of it, also the gauges, the cores. Is there something special with it? You're looking, because of these products are so complex, you're looking at, I would say, Brian, at least 8-10 weeks for products, and that would probably be at a minimum. It also will reflect the product itself. So if you were looking for a specific product, we could tell you at, by week, at each week, what that current lead time is. Now, you also have to take in consideration shipping or the transit time. Transit time, you should always leave at least a week, week and a half for that product to be delivered to a job site somewhere in the US. All right. Tack that onto. Also, the other thing is, if you were looking at a blast opening and the requirements was that it had to have engineering calculations done, I have seen that process take up to 3 to 4 weeks. Now, that is not even the production time. That's just getting the calculations done by what the specification was calling for. And then you have your lead time, and then you have your shipping lead time. So it all depends on the project itself. And I know it's not completely answering your question, but when you're looking at and you're getting down to lead times, that's where you're going to reach out to Brian and say, hey, this is what we're looking for. This is what they're saying they need the lead time to be. What can we do? That's where Brian is going to come into play with you as far as those lead times when it gets down to that critical time that you have to have something at the specific time. And again, I know
it
it's
looks
not
like
answering specific.
Rose, most of it's probably in the 8 to 10
8 to
week
10.
time frame. What's your highest one's going to be forced entry? That's going to be 16 to 18 weeks. So
Yeah.
those are where we get into the really specialty side of things.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, and then this might be our last one here. So this person was working on a project with the school construction authority, and the requirement was self-locking or self-closing doors. How can the children in a classroom be taught to open the door if necessary, if they have to get out?
Ooh.
Self-locking, self-closing. How can the children be taught to open the door if necessary, if they have to get out? Self-lockings, you can always get out of a self-locking door. You're always the locking side is what's locked. Free egress, you can always get out. So it should be just a normal operation from a child to be able to get out of that room. It's not locked on both sides when they say self-locking. So
it just means it most likely, well, for fire rated openings, that's a requirement. Has to be self-closing, self-latching, which means on those openings, it has to close on itself. So it's got to have some sort of closing device, and it has to latch, whether that's an exit device, a locking mechanism to actually, and as Brian said, on the other side of that opening is where you have the locking. If they're inside, say, a classroom, and there was something that happened that they needed to get out, they can be able to hit the lever and in one motion get out of that opening, out of that room. So it just means it has to close and latch on its own when it talks about self-latching and self-closing.
I did see a question on there about Word doc specifications. We do every single one of these specialty openings. We do have a product section, for the specialty type opening that you're looking for that we can include in specifications. So certainly reach out. We can help with that too.
Awesome. All right, great. It looks like that might have wrapped up all of our questions. So last thing to mention for me, there will be a quick survey as folks are leaving today's webinar. If you have any questions that come up as you're heading out, you can leave those there, as well as if you have any comments or just feedback on how today's session went. But yeah, I just want to thank everyone in the audience so much for attending today. We appreciate you coming out. And thank you, Rose and Brian, for being here and for answering all of our questions today.
Great. Thank you all for
Yeah.
attending. We hope we've been a little bit beneficial to you as far as getting you some information that you guys need.
Awesome. All right. Thanks so much. Have a good one, everyone.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.